Welcome to Her Standards with me, Quinta Mbori. We are glad that you could join us for this show that is all about talking about issues, about women objectively, addressing them into the final levels, getting down to the grassroots. Now, the topic that we want to discuss today is one that is really shameful, honestly, to me, and should be shameful to you as well, because as we speak today, 65% of women do not have access to sanitary towels. I'll take that again. 65% of women, as we speak right now, do not have access to sanitary towels. Now, how do we deal with this period shame and period poverty in this country of ours, where we have working structures, we have government, we have leaders, we have community leaders, we have parents, we have stakeholders, we even have people who are willing to partner with us in order to deal with this menace. I don't know the experience that is surrounding you, but we would really be grateful if you could hit us up. Tell us what is happening in your community. Tell us what is happening in your school. Tell us what is happening to your children. Tell us what is happening to the neighbors. Talk to us at KTN Home across all platforms, or you can also talk to me at Quinta Mbori on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are talking about ending period poverty in this country and also ending period shame in this country. We are so gracious to be hosted at the library at the Sanitary Center, a beautiful place. You can come and have a quiet moment, read a book, enjoy your meal, have a Zoom meeting. It is just beautiful. You just need to walk up to the second floor and you'll find it right there. It is definitely a hidden gem that is waiting for you to discover. Now, I'm joined by a panel. I think we are very lucky to have a man amongst us, because when it comes to matters period, everybody thinks it's just a woman's issue. But we have a gentleman who actually traveled all the way from Mombasa to come and join us. I'm so thankful that he's so passionate about creating awareness and menstrual health that he's able to join us. So we have Mr. Period Man. He will introduce himself, and I also have Sylvia as well as Valentine. All the three of them are passionate about menstrual health and menstrual health awareness, and we cannot wait to get to the bottom of it. What is the problem with this country? What is it that we can do in order to ensure that we keep our girls in school and they have a productive life and they're able to be responsible citizens who contribute to the development of this country? So without further ado, allow me to introduce my panelists. Guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to Her Standards. I'm so glad to have you. I couldn't wait to have this discussion. It bugs me day and night. I don't know what to do about it. And I'm glad I have you here, because you're able to break it down for us and tell us how we can help our young women. So let me start with Sylvia, looking all African beautiful. I have told her I want that outfit. And I hope I get that outfit. She's looking very nice. But yes, Sylvia, tell us who you are.
I'm Sylvia Maina from Simama na Dada Initiative, which means supporting our women and sisters here in Kenya. And as Simama na Dada, we've been here for the last 8 years, just ensuring that we create safe spaces and conducive environment for our girls, and keeping them in school. That is through mentorship program.
Yeah.
And distribution of sanitary towels to the needy. And under the mentorship program, we've been teaching them about and training them about reproductive health, about gender-based violence. We've been talking about self-esteem and self-image, and just to make sure our girls have the right information and the correct information. We've been working with the community, especially in the administration and Nyumba Kumi initiative, just to pass the information and tell them what we are doing, what we're supposed to be doing as a community, because we can't do this alone. And we're so glad and so grateful that as Simama, we've been able to reach out to more than 15,000 girls and 15,000 boys also, because mentorship, it actually cuts across. But under our program, we have 6,000 girls every month that we are in a position to support them with sanitary towels to ensure that they come to school.
Thank you so much for coming to Her Standards. We can't wait to hear more of what you do with Simama na Dada.
Yes, Simama na Dada.
Very nice initiative. So I'm going to move to the only man in the building. Maybe we should not even give him a clap. We're so happy. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
This is very honest. I mean, from everyone here at Katie and Home, when we heard you were traveling from Mombasa, we were speechless. Yes, but thank you so much. So please tell us what you do and why. Look at him in red. Yes. Huh? I know, look at, but see me wearing red is okay. Red is one of my favorite colors. There's something. But him, you know, in the full outfit, fully branded, the period man.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, so thank you. My name is James Atito. And I run the brand known as the Period Man. But before the Period Man, I work at Stretchers Youth Organization in Mombasa. It's a community-based organization that we co-founded with my colleague back in 2011. We are actually celebrating our 10-year anniversary this coming November. So we are very happy being SYO at 10. SYO is simply the abbreviation for the Stretchers Youth Organization.
Okay.
As an organization, we've been doing a number of programs, starting with health and well-being as our first thematic area, where we focus on matters of sexual reproductive health and rights, advocacy, awareness, looking at issues around budget in menstrual health, sexual reproductive health programs, among others. Then we also focus on human rights and good governance, making sure that we link young people and women to access justice, follow up through cases within communities. And then we also have gender equality as a thematic area that we really look into, just to make sure that we bring everyone on board. No one is left behind. Then we also have a component of capacity building our members, because we have volunteers across different counties. So we have programs of capacity building them. So for the Period Man, this was a passion that developed within me back in 2017, 2016, when we were having a program by one of our partners, DSW Kenya. They were introducing menstrual cups to about 50 girls in Mombasa. And one of the girls was my younger sister. So I became interested to know what is this device that my younger sister is going to use. So I started doing research on menstrual cups. I started getting information on periods, and that's when it hit me that actually periods exist. Then
how old were you? Sorry. How old were you?
I started counting backwards. Okay. I'm currently 29.
Okay.
So
26.
So
around 26.
Around 26, okay. 25 years.
Okay.
So that interest grew, but it got to a point in 2019 when I felt, I think, enough was enough. Based on an experience I encountered in Turkana. In December 2019, I happened to go to Turkana, Kakuma, to train adolescent girls and young boys on sexual reproductive health and life skills. And within the session, I had a component of sensitizing them on menstrual hygiene. So I was demonstrating how to use a menstrual cup. And then there is a girl who asked, "Why are you talking about periods? Are you a period man?" So it didn't hit me then. But then in the evening, when we were out of the session, because it was our 5 days training, it was drizzling a bit. Then I encountered a group of 7 girls, around 7, 7 p.m. 7 girls, 7 p.m. Seated next to the road. In Turkana, where the gully erosions happen, they call them lagers. So the girls were seated in the lagers. And I asked the person we were working with, why are these girls seated here? It is at night and it is also raining. Then the person told me that these girls are menstruating.
Oh my God.
And it is a taboo to sit in the homestead, especially where men are during menstruation. So they're supposed to sit in the lagers until they finish menstruating, then they are able to go back home. So when I went back to Mombasa, that hit me. And I started thinking of how can I advance my work on menstrual health to reach more men to break that kind of taboo. And then that name that the girl mentioned came to my mind. Are you a period man? So I just decided and said, well, from today I'll be the period man. So that is how the name began. Then in 2020, I copyrighted it by the Kenya Copyright Board. So I'm legally the period man.
But do you say?
And I've been doing advocacy on the same. So as the period man, I've been focusing on 3 approaches. That is SCAR. SCAR stands for sensitization, capacity building, and advocacy, where we do a number of programs through Stretchers Youth Organization. Yes.
Well, I think we should just end this show right here and go home. We are done for the day. But anyway, we still have Valentine here. Gosh, we'll come back to you. It's Valentine.
Okay. Thank you so much. My name is Valentine Samoe. I work for Huru International as the program manager. Huru is simply a Swahili word that means free. Our main work is to ensure that girls are not limited by no girl is limited by their periods. And how we do this is we make reusable sanitary pads and we distribute them to girls. And we also ensure that girls remain in school. And apart from just making reusable sanitary pads, what we do is we give educational sessions on menstrual hygiene management, sexual and reproductive health. So we give age-appropriate information for in-school girls, out-of-school girls, and also another program that we do is skills transfer programs. In our projects of doing menstrual hygiene management programs in the community, we found that there are girls who have actually dropped out of school, they are now mothers, and they actually do not have anything to do. So what we decided is we give them a skill that will enable them to be independent and also make their own money. Because you find that most girls and women, when they do not have resources to purchase menstrual products, they might engage in risky behaviors. So what we decided is that when we give this girl a skill or this woman a skill, they are able to make their own money and also purchase their menstrual products, and also being able to purchase menstrual products for their children. So we give them a skill on tailoring and dressmaking. They come for 3 months, they do all the courses, and then after that we pay for them the NITA exam, which is the national exam, and they get their certificates. So apart just from giving girls sanitary pads, we have different projects where we do community-based projects and school-based projects. And community-based projects, we do them when girls are at home, and community school-based, we do the projects when the girls are in school. And we use community-based facilitators to give information. We train them on menstrual hygiene management, gender-based violence, hygiene, and everything that surrounds a girl. Because we realize that you cannot just give information on menstrual hygiene management. You also have to give other information on hygiene, make sure they have safe spaces where they can change their menstrual product. Also be able even just to talk about it, break myths and misconceptions about menstrual hygiene. And we also not just reach the girls. We realize it is very, very important to also reach the boys. Because there are so many myths and misconceptions that go around And I'm so happy today that we have the period man. And because when boys and men have information about menstrual hygiene, they are also able to help us break the taboos and misconceptions about menstruation, and also just start the conversation about periods. And apart from reaching the boys, we also reach the parents. When a girl starts her period, the first person she will talk to is probably the mother. So when the mother doesn't have that information, she may just get the wrong information or go to the friends who don't have that information. So also the parent should come in, get the right information. And also very important is for the parents to provide menstrual products for their girls. So basically that is what we do at Huru.
That's a lot. That's a lot, but I think you're really doing amazing stuff. Now, to get us off, I just wanted us to let our viewers know to what extent this problem is. So I managed to dig out some data. So I'm just going to read out. Now, the first thing that you need to know, fellow viewer, is 1 million girls miss out in school each month, right? You can correct me if I'm wrong, because they cannot afford menstrual products. 1 million. So you can chew on that. So every month, 1 million girls don't go to school because they do not afford sanitary towels, which is how much? 50. Roughly 50 shillings. Okay. Now, UNICEF breaks it down further and says that 1.2 million primary school age children do not even attend school at all. So I'll keep going. Now, they say that on average, according to Kenya's Ministry of Education, girls lose on average 4 days every month, okay, which translates to 2 weeks each term. Now, over 4 years of high school, they lose 165 learning days. Now, as a result of this, because there are very passionate girls out here who want to go to school, and they will do anything in order to stay in school. Now, because of this, because of the numbers that I've given you, most of these girls actually engage in sex for pads. Sex for pads. They have sex in order to get money to buy pads. As if that's not enough, there are some instances where girls share sanitary towels, used. So I use, and then I have to give my friend so that she can also use. What is the problem? What is happening? What is happening? I couldn't sleep last night after reading this. What's happening? Sylvia?
From my end,
Yeah.
let me just start by saying, personally, I never used sanitary towel. From class 7 to Form 4, I never used sanitary towel. So we didn't have that privilege. Where I was brought up in a children's home. I was actually rescued from the street. So I was a street girl. So for me, I actually used the tissue, and it was that the green tissue. Maybe the period man can't understand that tissue. I don't, squeeze yoni. I can't actually access that tissue, but I know you understand. So we used to use that tissue. And it was because we couldn't afford the sanitary towel. So I always relate my story with the girls and the community outside here. And actually that is what actually made me to start Simama na Dada initiative. Just to represent and speak and have this girl know what they are supposed to know. I didn't have that privilege of getting the mentorship.
Yeah.
And actually in this is period poverty.
Yeah.
That is period poverty.
Yes.
Because for a parent not to afford to buy sanitary and not giving sanitary as a priority, there's a lot of things happening in this family. There's a lot of issues and challenges in this family. Yeah. And one, actually, will start with the basic needs. For this parent from rural area, from marginalized community, from slums. For them, it is so hard. And having just 100 shillings or $1 in a day, you can't manage to buy everything in the house. You have to buy water. You have to take your children in the hospital if they are sick.
Yeah.
There's that now medical issue. They have to go to school. You have to pay rent. So there's a lot of things happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So to most of the parents, we have talked to them, and you'll actually realize they will always weigh which is the best
Which one is
option.
most important?
Am I going to buy this sanitary towel for Sylvia, and we have 5 children in the house, so we better buy unga, we cook, we eat together, rather than buying sanitary towel. So what is going to happen to this girl? Number one, the girl will just feel like now the person who is supposed to support me is not there for me. As Valentine has said, if you don't give the girls the right information, they will always get another wrong. Actually, they will get negative and wrong information outside there.
Yeah.
So most of them, it is actually the influence that they get from others, and then they start engaging in sex. I know we actually worked with the girls in Busia when we actually had, in 2017, the issue of sex for pads. And these things were actually real. You know, we were talking with the girls, and there's this one girl who said, I opted not to have sex, but I'm using nylon paper. And then you're actually looking at this girl, you're asking yourself, it is here in Kenya.
Yeah.
And this girl just said, natumia nylon paper. And then you look at this girl, you're actually saying she didn't actually have any other option.
Yeah.
But we also have other girls that have actually used the exercise books. It is because of period poverty. People can't afford sanitary towels. The environment is not conducive for them. The environment is not conducive at home, and some even at school, because we've talked about the issue of gender-based violence, because that is also what we do. Issue of rape, people taking advantage, especially, let me just say, to be honest, especially the men, they always take advantage, because I know most of the girls, they actually become parents in their own homes. Most of the parents are not there. They are boarders at their workplaces. So you're just getting a class 7 girl is the father and the mother of that house, until when the mother will come on either Sunday, once in a week. So taking all this responsibility, there's a lot of free time, there's a lot of things. So even the mother is not monitoring the child, they're not talking with their girls. So it is actually hard for this girl to get correct information. They will only get, the peer pressure and the influence.
Well, today we are talking about ending period poverty and also ending period shaming. I am joined by a team of experts who are very passionate about menstrual rights and menstrual health as well. We want to take a short break. When we come back, we get to talk more about some of the solutions that you can help us do in order to end this scourge that is affecting our country. We are glad you could join us for the second part of this episode of Her Standards with me, Queen Tambori. Today we are determined to end period poverty and period shaming in this country. Remember, 65% of women and girls do not have access to menstrual products. Imagine 65%, and that translates to 7 out of 10 women do not have access to sanitary towels. How do we deal with this menace? I am joined by a team of experts who are helping me understand where the problem is and also come up with ways that we can solve this problem. Thank you guys, and thank you for joining us for the second part. I remember Mr. Periodman saying that when you experienced in Turkana where girls had to, sit on a trench for the whole entire the period when they're getting their monthly
Yes.
their menses,
Yes.
because they're not allowed to go back. Not a while back, even though I don't know whether this was proven, there's a girl who allegedly committed suicide because she was shamed of a period.
Yes.
What's going on? What's based on your experience? Yes.
Well, first, before I respond to that,
Yeah.
you had mentioned a statistics
Yes.
that 65% of girls and young women cannot afford sanitary pads. You see, when you mention it as a percentage, someone might underestimate it.
Yes.
But what it literally means is that if you have a group of 10 girls, 7 cannot afford.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Because you don't have a half a person.
Wow.
So
Wow.
65% will be translated to 7.
7.
Yes. So 7 girls cannot afford sanitary pad. Now, that comes back to the issue that she has mentioned
Yeah.
on the period poverty.
Yes.
Any moment a parent start asking whether she will buy food or a menstrual product, that means there is a
There's
problem.
a problem.
Okay? And remember, menstrual products are not luxuries. These are basic needs. That's why it is as important as buying food. It is a household conversation. It is a conversation that men have to start in the house.
In the house, yes.
Because we've always had it difficult, girls starting the conversation with the fathers, unless the fathers start the conversation. So the greatest challenge that has been there, that is bringing all these problems,
Yeah.
is the lack of information,
Yeah.
accurate information and knowledge. Even the people in Turkana, it is the knowledge. They don't understand the kind of complications and challenges that these girls go through
Yeah.
when they are seated on that soil
Yes.
for the 5 days.
Yes.
They don't understand that there are possible infections. They don't understand the kind of pain, the intensity of the pain that these guys are going through when they're seated there. They cannot understand whether these girls have other complications that are resulting to maybe excessive even bleeding. Heavy bleeding. So if we cannot address the gap in the information, we still continue this challenge for as long as I don't know. So the best we can always do is first have that platform to share the information.
Yes.
And this is the platform that you've given us today,
Yeah.
to give this information to the people who don't have it. That when you're talking about menstrual hygiene management, it's not the issue of sanitary pads alone.
Yeah.
It is a very wide component that even if we start discussing today, I mean, it can be a whole year TV program.
Yes.
Because when talking about menstrual health, we talk about the menstrual products, and not just sanitary pads. We have other menstrual products that maybe we'll be talking about later.
Later, yes.
We talk about pain management. How do girls manage pain during menstruation? It is a component that is always in the silence. And there are a lot of girls suffering from different conditions that are important to be talked about. When we talk about MHM, we talk about issues, access to water, issues of gender equality. Because when a girl misses school 4 days every month,
Yeah.
remember the boys are going to school. Then this school missing is translated to performance.
Yes.
That means even getting employment,
The,
will never be equal.
she's already
It will never be
disadvantaged.
equal.
Yeah.
I always like giving an example with a mama mboga. We have a mama mboga and a baba mboga. Every month, this mama mboga say is suffering from a condition like endometriosis.
Yeah.
Every month, maybe she has to get hospitalized for at least a week. She's not going to the market. She's not having any income.
Any income, yes.
But the baba mboga is continuing. These two people can never be equal. That is where the gender aspect comes in when talking about menstrual health. When talking about MHM, we discuss issues around waste disposal. We have a lot of tons of sanitary pads disposed, and they all end up in our roads. People are not discussing that. So you realize that MHM has lots of issues that really need to be highlighted. People really need to understand for them to take it seriously. If we don't address menstrual health challenges, it is difficult for us to achieve sustainable development goals in health,
True.
sustainable development goals in gender equality,
True.
in education,
True.
in water and sustainability of environment,
Yes.
in clean production.
Yes.
It is difficult to achieve all this. So that tells you how important menstrual hygiene
The
management
weight
is.
of the matter. Valentine,
Yes.
the purpose of this show today was actually to try, we are just scratching the surface, if you ask me. Just like Mr. Period has said, we are barely scratching the surface. There's an array of issues to be discussed. But now, for the benefit of this show, we are talking about trying to end period poverty. I know it's quite a milestone, quite the task. But what do you think we need to do, given the issues that they have highlighted? What can we do?
I think one of the important things that we need to do to end period poverty, it starts the conversation of menstrual hygiene.
Yeah.
Just the way they've said, information is very important. But how do we even give out this information in a way that the girls, the parents, the boys, and everyone are able to understand? Remember, menstruation, in the past years, no one used to talk about it.
Yeah.
Menstruation was something that was a taboo. You cannot talk about it in front of people. You go to school, you soil your dress, when you stand up, everyone is laughing at you. Trust me, you want to go back to school the next day. So this is, we just need to start the conversation on menstruation and tell people menstruation is a normal biological process that happens to each and every woman. So it is very normal. So we start this conversation. And again, another thing is to bring all stakeholders together. Not just women talking about it, not just talking about it in schools, but talking about it even from the policy level. We are happy that we now have a policy on MHM.
Yes.
And we are able now to start implementing what is in the policy.
Yeah.
This is a step towards the right direction. We are happy now that we have guidelines of making reusable sanitary pads.
Yeah.
This helps us to give women choices. For those who want to use cups, for those who want to use reusables, disposable, at least we are moving to the right direction. But you see, we have policy, we have guidelines, but how do we reach that girl, that woman who is somewhere in Samburu, who is somewhere in Baringo? Because you see, myths and misconceptions are perpetrated by the people in the community. So we have to reach that person in the community. So apart from just coming up with policies, coming up with standards and all that, and talking about it at the higher level, we still need to go back to the ground level and talk about menstrual hygiene management and bring men into this conversation. I remember the reason why even I have so much passion about menstruation and all that, I started my period when I was very young, at 9 years. At 9 years, what do you know about periods? Those days, no one used to talk to you about periods. You wake up one morning and you find your sheet has blood, your panty has blood, and you're in a boarding school. You are like,
What is happening?
what is this? What is happening?
Yeah.
So when we start having this conversation as early as 9 years, 8 years, because you see, having this conversation as before even you get into premenstrual, we start talking about this conversation. We talk directly to girls, but are we talking to the parents? Are we talking to the community leaders, the religious leaders? Myths and misconceptions, you are told you're not supposed to go to church because you're having your period.
Yes.
And remember, it is not only girls who talk about this. Even grown-up women, we still talk about where I cannot go to church because I'm having my period because it's I am dirty. You see, you can't go to church, you can't cook. You cannot hold a child. Atukishika mtoto, atapatwa na rashes. You see, all those myths and misconceptions, we have to demystify them. And how do we do that? We go directly to those, to the community, to that parent, to that community leader, that when you are having your period as a woman, you can still stand on the pulpit and preach. You can still do your work. Just the way he's saying, menstruation affects the economy. When a girl or a woman is having her periods, they might not go to work.
Yeah.
One of the things is because of menstrual pain.
Yeah.
When we do menstrual hygiene education in schools, we normally do like a mini survey just to see why do girls miss school during their periods.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the main reasons is they do not have access to sanitary pads or they cannot afford.
Yeah.
The second major thing is menstrual pain.
Oh.
And you see, as communities, as women, we have normalized menstrual pain. But having menstrual pain, extreme menstrual pain, is not normal.
It's not. It's not.
So we start from there because it affects the economy. This woman will not go to work. Sometimes you are at work and you're not given even one off day to
deal with your menstrual.
To help you to just adjust to this new thing that is happening.
Yeah.
Of course, it happens every month, but every month it's new. It's a new experience. So it's good to have this conversation at the community level, at the lowest level. We are having it at the highest level, but let's go and start this conversation at the community level. It's good we are breaking the silence. And actually, to have just a month to talk about periods, we've started breaking
the barriers. We are moving in the right direction. As a matter of fact, Valentine, we are not just having a man on our panel. Mr. Period Man, like I said, came all the way from Mombasa, and he came with goodies.
Yes.
I'm even surprised that he's able to walk around with the sanitary products. Maybe you can show us, tell us a little bit about what you brought to us today.
Okay.
Please proceed. Yeah, you can just lift it. Yeah.
These are all basic needs in my bag every day. They never miss in my bag because I don't always know where I will use them.
Yes.
Whenever we design our programs, we always try to look at the policy that we have. We are happy that this policy was launched and we have strategy. The policy is for 10 years, but strategy has been broken down to 5 years.
Yeah.
And in that strategy, there is roles of everyone. Individuals, community-based organizations, churches, ministries, media, everyone has a role to play in this. So whenever we design our programs at Stretchers, we always look at the wider component of menstruation. Okay? So whenever we go to the field, whenever we meet with the girls or the parents, whichever the audience, we always try to package ourselves relevant to the audience. So the basic information we always give is on the menstrual products, because we have people, or especially men, who don't even know how a sanitary pad looks like. When they are sent to the supermarket to buy, those who are married, for example, they are always, some are always sent. They get to the shelves, they start calling. Ulisema ni gani? Inakaa aje? Iko side gani? So we always package information to suit also this audience. So we always show the men or the general public that we have a disposable sanitary pad that girls can use once, then throw away. Okay? Then we also have reusable sanitary pad that girls can use, wash, dry in the sun, reuse again for a period even of 15 months. Then they change. Okay? Then we also have those who cannot afford the reusable pad. They are menstrual clothes, okay, that girls can make with their locally available materials.
Okay.
So long as they adhere to the hygiene aspect of it, so that they prevent themselves from having the infections.
True.
Then something we always tell the parents is that whenever you're buying the menstrual products, like the sanitary pads, hiyo pad haitajishikilia. So make sure you give girls a panty. And we even advise the girls to make sure they carry an extra, because they don't know. Unaweza kuwa unadhani itakuja kesho, ikakuja leo. We know that it changes with also different aspects, stress levels, environment change, na kadhalika. So we tell them that carry an extra. Sometimes girls can soil a panty to an extent that they don't feel comfortable even washing it.
Okay.
So they have to throw it
Throw it
away.
away.
Okay? So we always advise men and even breadwinners in the families to make sure that as much as girls have sanitary pads, let them also have panties, because we realize that most girls use sanitary pads. Okay, so apart from the sanitary pads, the disposable and reusable, there are tampons made of cotton. These are insertable. So we also tell girls that we have these products available in the market. Apart from that, we have the menstrual cups. These menstrual cups, which are also insertable. And they are usable for about 10 years. Like this one is Ruby cup for 10 years.
10 years.
Yes. Girls can use. So we also tell them that these are available material. Then when it comes to issues of pain management, we do not leave out a session on that, because we know there are girls who suffer from very severe pain, leave alone the primary. We have primary dysmenorrhea and secondary dysmenorrhea. Primary inaweza kuwa ni the normal pain that comes with the contraction in the womb. But we have secondary that comes with conditions like fibroids, endometriosis, cervical cancer, ovarian cyst, na kadhalika. So we tell them that there are products that you can use to manage the pain. That is when we demonstrate the use of the hot water bottle. Okay? But then kuna wale ambao wanasema hot water bottle pia haifanyi kazi, because different girls react differently to different products. So we tell them kwamba kuna pain relievers, for example. But there are those people, or even generally, even doctors will not advise you to make your body get used to the medicines. So we encourage the use of, nowadays we have technology.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard about the Jolly Levers.
I've not heard about that one.
This is an unmedical device that uses electrodes. You simply attach it to the lower abdomen where you feel the pain. Then you switch it on. It kind of vibrates to soothe the pain, so that you don't have to get painkillers. You don't have to get stressed with holding the hot water bottle. As you can see, it's on a holder. So it's something that you can just
hook on your
put somewhere. Then you may attach on your lower abdomen. It works as you continue doing your work in office, in school, in whichever place. And it doesn't use any, you don't need to use to worry about the medicine
I have to
aspect.
cut you short because you don't have a lot of time.
Maybe to add
just a minute. You'll do a minute and a minute and a minute, and then we just wind up because time is not on our side. Yes. So Sylvia,
on the menstrual hygiene, I'll just say when we talk about sanitary towels, especially the reusable ones, which are very sustainable and very advisable to most of the low-income communities. Yeah, water is actually a challenge. Water and sanitation is something that is really needed. Water is a challenge, and also information. But as Simama, we are grateful that we've been working with the community, especially the administration, the chiefs, parents meetings. So we are actually lucky that we've been working with the parents in schools and talking to the girls. And we've seen a lot of transformation, because now, if you're actually following the statistics and even the class attendance, our girls ndio saizi wako wengi shule. Actually, you're getting class 8 400, 300 are girls, or even 200. So there's transformation, there's change that we are seeing through the advocacy that we are making.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Valentine, your final words. I know. I promise I will invite us for another session. Yes.
So I think also the most important part as partners who do MHM programs is to also just work in partnership, where I might not be able to provide water, but I have a partner who provides water. And the good thing is in most of these communities that we work in, all those other partners also are working there. So if you go to a community where there is no like something like water, we have partners who are able, who are willing to partner with us to provide water. We have also partners who can provide relief for menstrual pain and all that. So I think it's so important for us to work together so that we know what do we really need. And also just ask the government to provide these facilities for girls. Because I might have sanitary pads and all that, but there's no facility for me to change my sanitary pads. Or the toilets we are using in school are both used for boys and girls. So again, we task the government also to provide facilities and wash facilities for these girls and just give information.
I think collaboration is key here. That's what I picked from you, Valentine. Mr. Period Man, what do you have for your fellow men?
What I always tell men, and I'll tell them, there is nothing I lose as a man when I support women agenda. Okay? So they should not fear supporting matters menstrual health. Actually, at Stretchers, we are doing a study to evaluate the effectiveness of engaging men in addressing menstrual health programs to girls, starting next month. And as she has mentioned, the multisectoral approach is very key. Now we are seeing partners, Mombasa, where I'm coming from, we have 3 partners that are really working in unison, and they have pad banks. If I can just mention, in Mombasa we have pad bank at Swahili Port Hub and Changamwe Youth Caucus and Stretchers Youth Organization, where girls can walk in and get menstrual products for free for that emergency. So we encourage as many men to come up. Sometimes we do challenges, challenge in terms of mobilizing men. We go to a supermarket and tell men, leo ni siku yenyu kununua pads. Everyone to make sure you buy 2 packs of pads, take home, and see the reaction of that female in the house. So we always encourage men to have those kind of challenges so that we normalize this conversation at household level. But as the period man, I'm really humbled to be here. I'm very grateful. And I'm looking forward to more of these conversations, so that we break that silence that has been there.
We have to break the silence. And I mean, if you are listening to the period man, he said they have a challenge where men advise from time to time. They ask men to walk into the supermarket, buy some sanitary towels, take home, and observe the reaction. I think that's a really good challenge, and definitely a good point to end. Well, this has been Her Standards with me, Queen Tambori. This is the show that is all about talking through issues that affect women. Now, today we were really keen on how to end period poverty and period shaming in this country. We have not even gone any deeper. We still have quite a lot to talk about. We've barely just scratched the surface. Needless to say that doesn't mean that there's nothing that you can do about ending period poverty in this country. I'll leave it up to you. Wherever you are, whatever you do, think of ways, practical ways that you can involve in ending period poverty for the girls and women in this country. Talk to us at KTN Home across all social media platforms, or you can also engage me at Queen Tambori. I would really like to know how you have decided to help us in this battle of ending period poverty and shaming in this country. A special shout out and thank you goes to our host. Today we are at the library at the Sanitary Center, a very beautiful place, quiet place where you can have your meal but also read a book. Well, till next time, this is Her Standards. Bye for now. We hope to see you soon. Boys and girls, say that again. Oh, good morning, visitor. Together we succeed. That's a beautiful message. Clap for yourselves. Queen boy, but my friends call me Queen. So are you my friends? So you're allowed to call me Queen? Will you forget? Okay. So today, do we have anybody here called Queen? Quinta? Okay. Next time. Better luck next time. So the reason we are here is basically to keep girls in school, and also to empower everyone, including boys, so that they understand why we need to keep girls in school. I work for Standard Group Media House. I host a program on KTN Home called Her Standards. Okay. So if one time you find yourself around the television on Saturday at 4 p.m., make sure that you tune in. The program is about empowering women and girls and boys and ensuring that we live in a wonderful society. Are we together? All right. So today we are joined by people who love you, by the way, because they've never met you, but they care so much about you. Isn't that a good thing? It's a good thing. They love you, they care for you, and actually the people who are here are just representatives, okay?
My name is Timothy Kitenge, and I'm the president of Rotary Club of Kitengela. And I'm also a charter member of the club since it was born 3 years ago. Menstrual hygiene is a very important part of our Rotary activities because it forms part of the 5 areas of focus of Rotary, and menstrual hygiene is one of the key areas that we focus, and we've been doing this for a while in many schools around our area in Kitengela and Kajiado to enable girls to stay in school. That's the driving factor about the menstrual hygiene. And also, besides making them stay in school, also empowering them with the knowledge of how to take care of their health during that period.
By dealing with the pads, we can solve a lot of these other issues. And as we did our research, we discovered that by solving the issue of the pads, everything else drops. Gender violence drops, child brides 3 times lower if the girl stays in high school. Oh, what's in my pocket? Tampons in my pocket. Well, that's a great question. So, you know, I've been around for a while. I'm a bit senior. And menstruation is our issue together as a society. It's not a woman's issue. And many a time women are caught in a situation where they're not expecting the peas to come. And it's easy for a man to put something like this in his pocket. So I've been doing this for years.
I think today has been a very interesting and an amazing day for the girls who we've reached. Our expectation was that we teach the girls about menstrual hygiene issues, some issues about reproductive health, that is puberty and adolescence.